Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have more crypto related news, which includes a big announcement for XRP as well as some big move plays going on with Bitcoin. And so we're going to go ahead and get started by taking a look at the price movement for Bitcoin. Then I'll talk more about what's going on in the news. And what's interesting here is that Bitcoin is now in the red. Just a little bit ago, very shortly ago, it was actually in the green. So pretty dramatic drop while I'm recording the video. It's sitting at $76,779. We actually had a high of about $78,000. It got really close to this Fibonacci retracement level, and you guys can see that that looks like it is now a strong formation of resistance. On the day, we also have a low of about $76,400. We do have 3 days that closed out in the green for Bitcoin, and we're just going to have to see how this continues to play out. The Bollinger Band expanding out just a tiny bit right here. And let's go ahead and move on to some crypto-related news. CME launches 24/7 XRP futures. That starts on May 29th. This is just 3 days away, having an opportunity to get in on these futures, having access to it all the time. It is something that is a big precursor for potential large moves. So you do need to keep an eye on this, keep a watch on this, having that access starting in just the next 3 days. Now for Bitcoin, the Fear and Greed Index has actually moved a little bit out of the fear territory. We're up to 34 now. Previously, we saw it at about 28 yesterday. So it's nice to see this starting to move towards neutral territory. But yes, we are still in the fear zone. And the XRP Ledger rolls out the Fix Cleanup 313 upgrade tomorrow, automatically deleting expired NFT offers and patching bugs in vault withdrawals, permission domains, and loan accounting. And here we go. We've got the XRP Ledger Foundation putting out a post. Today, we're publishing a new XRP Ledger standard for AMM version 2. New pool curves, stable swap, and concentrated liquidity, increase capital efficiency, and stabilize pricing for stablecoins, FX markets, RWAs, and beyond on the XRPL DEX. The XRP Ledger nodes face shutdown deadline. This is very important. The XRP Ledger community is approaching a critical deadline as older node versions risk being cut off from the network. Validator Vet warned infrastructure providers and marketplaces to upgrade to XRPL version 3.1.3 immediately. Nodes running outdated software could become amendment blocked and lose the ability to process transactions. Users can now buy XRP in ChatGPT. This is via MoonPay integration. The XRP crowd sentiment has hit its highest FUD levels in 3 weeks, a level that has historically acted as a contrarian buy signal. This is per sentiment. There's a crypto exchange called BTCC, and if you guys have not heard about this, check out these amazing details. It's been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage. There's no VPN or KYC required to get started with this, and you can get a deposit bonus up to 10%. And that is if you deposit over $500 in USDT. And bonuses can go all the way up to $10,055 per user. So if you want to look into this more, or if you want to get started, you can find my referral link down in the description below. Now, continuing on with the news. This one is really big in regards to Bitcoin. So we have Michael Saylor, as many of you guys probably know. He's associated with MicroStrategy, has a ton of Bitcoin with the company. And they go on to say Strategy has completed the repurchase of $1.5 billion of its 2029 convertible notes at an about 8% discount to par, generating an incremental 0.7% Bitcoin yield and lowering aggregate debt to $6.7 billion. He then goes on to say, year-to-date 2026, MicroStrategy has achieved Bitcoin yield of 13.3% and Bitcoin gain of 89,378 Bitcoin, worth approximately $6.8 billion. Then as of May 25th, 2026, They now hodl 843,738 Bitcoin, acquired for $63.87 billion at $75,700 per Bitcoin. So I want to stress that to you. Their average price for each Bitcoin is $75,700. Bitcoin is at $76,880. So they are technically in a profit right now, but it's pretty rough. So going on, bull theory. Strategy just spent $1.38 billion, nearly 61% of its entire cash reserves, to buy back its own debt at a discount. Strategy borrowed money years ago by issuing convertible notes due in 2029. Those notes are now trading below face value. So instead of waiting until 2029 to pay them back at full price, Strategy bought them back today at a cheaper rate. It is a smart move on paper. Retiring debt at a discount saves money and cleans up the balance sheet. The problem is they use $1.38 billion of a $2.25 billion cash pile to do it. Strategy now has roughly $871 million in cash left. A company that holds 843,738 Bitcoin worth $64.8 billion just spent nearly 61% of its liquid cash cushion on a debt cleanup. If Bitcoin drops sharply, their margin situation tightens, and that $871 million buffer is all that stands between them and a forced sale of Bitcoin holdings. This is either very disciplined financial management or a very thin safety net. Depends entirely on where Bitcoin goes next. And Crypto Rover's saying that Strategy is in a very dangerous position. With them spending that $1.38 billion, nearly 61% of its total cash reserves, Strategy now has just $870 million in cash left, with $64.8 billion worth of Bitcoin. One sharp Bitcoin crash could change everything. Yes, I agree. Now, Ripple Labs files new Ripple and XRP logo trademarks tied to Treasury infrastructure and global payment software. We've got XRP liquidity on Binance has fallen to its lowest level since January 2020 per CryptoQuant. Binance is to enter the Philippines again via a Block Shoals partnership under the SEC Sandbox framework. And then we take a look at what's going on with XRP. So Bitcoin was red, it still is red now. And we have XRP showing slightly the signs of being in the green, but right on the cusp of turning red there. We do have a high of about $1.36, a low of $1.33, and essentially flatlining out from yesterday, about the equivalent on the new day formation here. And we can also zoom out just a tad bit more. Bollinger Band is showing a little bit of divergence taking place, even though the price is moving sideways. Volume on the day is absolutely crazy. It looks like there's no price movement overall after all of that. And the price volume, I should say, the volume itself is starting to go on track to what we might actually have had happen back on May 14th. So it's already surpassed the volume that took place on May 23rd. We still have time on the day. There we go. Nice little push up for XRP. And if we zoom out even more, we have not seen volume like this for XRP, except going all the way back also to April 17th. And that was a closeout on the day. Then we have April 8th. There's April 7th, which was really, really big. And what else do we got here? We've also seen this back on around March 31st. And then there were quite a few days that took place back in March. So volume itself, just on the day alone, is already looking very, very big. How the price is going to settle with all of this, we'll have to wait and see. But if you zoom in a tad bit here, let's move that back. If you zoom in a tad bit here, you guys can actually see that it right now is struggling to try and go above and stay above the level of previous support that was established with this triangle formation. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a tad bit more for you guys. You can see the top line, the bottom line. These were established. Well, the top line was already showing the continuous trend. We actually had to adjust the bottom line of support recently, and I've kept it there. I know I could move it down further, but yeah, there was a big dramatic drop that took place May 22nd. I still feel like this trend line is pretty strong. We have a candle closure on May 22nd, then broke above it. Then we have 2 days of candle closure previously, which now that shows a trend started down below this line. And on the new day right here, where we're at right now, if it closes below, yeah, we might end up seeing it have a further drop. However, we might also see this consolidate for a while. That drop that took place on May 23rd was quite dramatic. And I still think that we're looking at a possible sort of sideways movement following along fairly closely, trying to break above this line here as it tries to inch closer to $1.40. There's some pretty good news going on for crypto itself. Stock market doing absolutely amazing right now, breaking all-time records, but you know, you got to be careful. That stuff does pop. That's what I got for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. I'm Crypto Atlas over there. And also thank you to my YouTube members. God bless, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.